Hello, hello, hello. I am very, very behind. I am only on day 24, and I think they're on like 31, maybe? Maybe even further than that. It seems like I just saw the accordion fold-out tag, which would be day 39. I'm behind. It's going to be a bit of catch up. Probably going to be doing multiples at a time today. I'm going to try to get 3 tags done. So day 24, which is fabric and paper layered tag, 25 vellum overlay, and then day 26 is embossed. So that's where we're at. I've kind of, in order to sort of try to save some time, I have a new set of drawers right here they're like right under the desk to the left, and I'm used to just spinning and grabbing stuff off the shelf behind me. Now every time I spin, I hit my knee right on the corner and it hurts. So I'm going to go ahead and tear these off. Put these in my glue page bin. Although this one's not glued. These can become tags later. And as you said, I don't worry about gluing them all the way down. Just enough to... Is the other one not glued either? The other one was not glued either. Okay. Apparently I just folded them. But anyway, I don't worry about getting them all the way glued up to the edges until I go to use them, because if I end up sewing them, it's not going to matter because I'm going to catch those open edges anyway when I'm gluing. So, also, right here, right there, off camera, you guys can't see it, but I have, look, right there. I have a no more spilling. No more spilling on my, because usually it hits and then when it runs that way, and then I got to move everything in order to clean it all up. It's a whole thing. This space back here, you'll notice it's not all cluttered. I can actually put my hands back there. I did some major reorganization of my desk. I got a third cabinet for my inks. Had to switch and swap a little bit because what was in my head was not reality, size-wise. So yeah, I just switched some stuff around. My big organizer that's normally sitting right here that had a bazillion pens and markers and stuff in it that I really never used at my desk. I would put stuff in the little front cubby, and then I had the drawer that had paper clips in it, but other than that, I never used it. It was just a massive load of pens. And I tell ya, it was an eye-opener because I kind of had myself convinced that my writing utensil obsession, it's mainly pens, but was more under control than it used to be until I started cleaning my table off and consolidating all the pens and pencils and markers and everything that I have, only to realize, oh my gosh, it's just as bad as it was when I wrecked my car. It has not gotten better since 2015. In fact, I filled 2, the school pencil boxes. I filled 2 of those with just what was in that organizer and randomly on my desk. And that does not, there's a whole other, there's a mason jar of pens out on the dining table. There's pens in the table next to the couch. I have a whole drawer of pens and pencils and stuff. And my wood organizer behind me. Yeah. Delusional. That's what I was. So yeah, I'm going to consolidate them all into one spot. So all the ones from the living room, all the ones from the dining room, all the ones from my bedroom, wherever their pens happen to land. I'm going to get them all consolidated into one spot, and then I'm going to sit down with some paper and toss any that don't work. Stuff like that. So my thought was, when it was fabric and paper, I kind of sat and looked at my fabric and tried to think, okay, what fabric would I like to work with? And then I saw the checkerboard and I went, checkerboard, I like checkerboard. What can I do with checkerboard? So this tag is going to be a tic-tac-toe board. So, right? 9 squares. And then I have ladybugs. These are stamped on manila folder. So I have ladybugs and I have bees. I was going to do ladybugs and butterflies, but none of my butterflies are small enough. So, and because I'm going onto fabric, I am going to get out the big guns of glue. Get that into the tip, into the downtown. So I got paper, fabric, paper. Ladybug there. A bee there. And we're going to put the ladybug right here for the win. I think what I'm going to do, instead of putting a fabric tab up there, I'm going to glue a ladybug and a bumblebee. There's my tab. I have one extra bumblebee that I'm not going to worry about using. That's the back side. Hey, my eyes itching. I'm yawning. Let's see, is there anything else I want on here? Let's see, what do I have as this in sentiments? Don't worry, be happy. I feel like those blend in. I need a bigger. So I do have these still. So create. I'm gonna make some more of these apparently. Create. Inspire. Laugh. Those blend in too much. Definitely need to make some more of those. Let's just see color wise. And then I have white ones. And then I have super white that I would probably ink over. I definitely have to find where I got these again. Today sucked. Bad news never had good timing. Pain is real, but so is hope. Oh, that one's got a bad word on it. This was a hard day. Bad news. Some days are just hard. Never give up. Everything sucks. This is one of my favorites, though. I want to sleep until I feel better. Little snarky sayings. But love is a game that two can play and both win. Not in a game of tic-tac-toe, though. I like the idea that we're talking about a game, though. I'll go down here. Right there. For some reason, my brown looks blue. Right in front of me for my walnut stain. Also going to go around the card. Should I ink these up a little better before I put them on? That's okay. It's not blue. I don't know what that was all about. Come on. These are usually the easy stickers. Let's try this. I read this or saw it on somebody's channel. So I had to take sticky tape, stick it to the back. Well, I mean, I'd say it worked. Got the paper to come up. And again, sticker number 1. Don't trust them by themselves, but I'm also going to be putting this on fabric. So, definitely want to use the good strong glue. Put that right there. Love is a game that 2 can play and both win. Even though in a game of tic-tac-toe, you only have one winner. I'm like, that is so crooked. There we go. Okay. And my tags are going to be pretty simple. My ideas are not idea-ing. So, yeah. I'm having a very hard time with creativity. I'm like, apparently I'm having a hard time with language too. So this, I don't want, let's go this way. I want to make sure it's at least on the green. So that when I cut it out, and again, because this side's already covered, I'm gluing it on the back, which originally would have been the back, but it's, you know, or would have originally been the front, but now it's the back because I'm covering the other side with images. So if I did it the other way, I'd end up having to cover, you know, if I decorated this side, I'd have to put something on that side anyway. So it makes more sense. You know, especially if I'm doing a full coverage, anything to missed my garbage. Just do it on the lined side. So that can go back into the envelope it came from. So this is the overlay. I'm gonna clip, flip, and clip again. Now, overlay can mean many different things. It can mean make a pocket, overlaying your images. You could do it as a, as a flip. Which, like if you had a printed vellum, you'd have an image on this and then flip up and see the image underneath. There's all kinds of different things you could do. For me, my plan is I'm going to glue this down to this in its entirety. I'm going to overlay the entire piece, and then I'm going to decorate on the top of the image. Now, as I've said before, this is drafter's vellum, so it's actually plastic. It's not paper. It doesn't tear. It does die cut. Takes a bit. I have to run it through many, many times over. And when I'm using it in a journal that I'm giving to somebody, or that I'm commissioned for, I use my sewing machine and I go around it, because sometimes, because it's a plastic material, it's not porous, so it doesn't adhere as well as your standard vellum would. So normally I would sew around it. But because this is just for my idea book, I'm not going to worry about sewing around it. We're just going to burnish it really well and hope that it stays. And I normally would use this as well. The problem is that you can see it. So if you're just doing, just gluing on one edge, you're going to see the glue line. Doing what I'm doing with this, I'm not worried about it because I'm squishing it down anyway. But you can see this bottom edge, I didn't get enough glue on, so I'm just going to squish. This drafter's vellum is something that I won in a local auction. Said before, but if you're new, we have a company here locally that does estate auctions. And so I bid on stuff there a lot. This stuff was really cool. There was some other stuff that was in that same auction that I was bidding on, and I wasn't watching it close enough, and it went to another buyer, and I'm like, all right, no harm, no foul. And that's kind of my attitude with it, is like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. If it's something that, I really, 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 really wanted, obviously, I would be watching it more closely. So I usually, if I see something, I'm like, yeah, I could use that in my craft room. I'll do a what they call a max bid. And then if I get outbid, I get outbid. In fact, the two things that I was bidding on currently, I've been outbid on both. And I'm like, yep, I'm done. I'm not going up on either of those. And that auction ends, that one ends today. So I'm like, yeah, and One of the items, my max bid was 20 and it's currently at 45. So, try to pick up the flowers. These flowers are Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. These labels, I'm not sure. Got them on Etsy. They're from a Field Notes kit. Possibly Junk Journal Essentials. I'm not super sure. But this one, it says Plants of Nebraska. No, Virginia. But I thought it kind of looks like a marriage license. So I thought I'd do that, and I can cover up the plants part. I think I'm going to cut one more flower off. I think I only want 2. So again, I'm going with the wet glue, and hopefully it stays. So this is I think this is the first time I've filmed since I rearranged all the stuff that's in front of me. And so far I'm struggling a little bit. Like my glue being over here instead of it being over here. But I grab it and I keep hitting my light. I don't know. I might have to swap some things around over here. So again, I'm just covering up the plants part of it. So it just says of Virginia, so it kind of looks like a certificate of, or the state of Virginia versus yeah. I'm going to be using roses on my embossed card too, so. This is going in the book up and down, so I can put a tabby there. Reach into my tools drawer over here. I'm trying to get through that plastic vellum there. We do some green baker's twine. It's weird, it's doubled. I did put it back in there. I'm like, where did that green one go? I was thinking do brown with the baker's twine. I think I will. After I get everything to stop sticking to my fingers. Only problem with my cut being right there is that it changes the way in which I reach my garbage can. Come on, go through, both of you. Okay, both strings are through, both browns through. One good thing about having the crafter's vellum is it actually creates a nice strong hole there so it doesn't tear as easily. Pretty simple vellum overlay. And then this one, I need to get up and get my embossing supplies. Scissors away. So I don't need those right now. We don't need these right now, so we're just going to put them up there. So first thing I'm going to do, again, is cover the back. The best I can, anyway. This will have a little bit of the corner over there, which I think I can deal with that. So again, make sure you get your corners really well. If you're going to be sewing, it's not as vital to get those corners because you're going to be covering them, or you're going to be sewing them, I mean. For the sake of my ideal book, obviously I'm not just going to slop it, but if my corners aren't super perfect, I'm not going to stress that. Just trimming that off. This is a page from Edith Holden's book. If you're new to the junk journaling world, you may not be familiar with Country Diary of a Country. What is it? Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. Something like that. Look up Edith Holden. And yes, it'll pop up, I guarantee it. I have this image that is on sticker paper. She is from an old book that I purchased. It is no longer copyright, so it is public domain imaging. Printed it out on sticker paper, but I discovered not too long after that it doesn't stick very well. I have a corner borders here. Now, because I've got all this other stuff going on, I definitely want my corner borders to be thinner. Oh, I like the one. These are leaves, though, with the flower up there. Oh, look, I can get it. Or am I cutting this in a tag shape? No, because then the corners won't make sense. Get into my tool drawer again. Ouch! Wrong drawer. Me and my tool drawer are having negotiations, and currently this does not go with this set, but I'm putting it here. It's on my block, still from my last go around with this. See if I can move these. Perch! Or drop them. So the problem I'm having is they don't fit completely in the drawer. Simply because I've got the long skinny ones. Well, the long skinny ones are impeding the rest of them fitting in the drawer. I don't know if they'll be able to go that way, but we'll try. That just leaves this one out in the cold. And it's definitely too long to fit in the supply drawer. The tool drawer, I should say. So we're just going to put it in the bottom. The bottom drawer has no dividers. So now I have this embroidery embossing ink from Tim Holtz. I also have this Stampin' Stamping is Fun. I don't know what brand this is. I've not been super pleased with this one, and I actually think it might finally be dried out. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything transferring. So this one might be done. This one's getting pretty grody. I'm gonna have to think about getting a new embossing block soon. embossing ink. I also have embossing markers up there. Also something that I have not been super happy at getting it to work. So I'm going to go in to there and we're going to stamp this down. And do all four corners. Doesn't look like anything at the moment. Still have some glittery in here, so as well put some glitter on there, right? Should have got my powder out before I thought I had green. But apparently I don't. This is the closest to green that I have, and it is called Pool Party, but aquamarine basically. Not really green. So I guess I'm going to do them in black. So black powder, just sprinkle it. Ooh, there's clumpsies. Sprinkle. Don't worry about getting too much, because there's really not a such thing. It's only going to stick where that embossing powder is. Okay, so then you take this and you just kind of clean it up a little bit. So all this little extra embossing powder. You want to try not to go over your imaging, because it will take some of that powder off. Love this little tray. Take the little plug out. And that little bit of glitter that was in here, the clear stuff, is going into my black, and that's okay with me. Okay. Now, every person that I've seen that has one of these has a brush that looks like this. Crooked and mangled. Is it just me? Whoops. I purchased this off a marketplace. So it was, the paintbrush was already bent like that when I got the stuff. But like I said, every video that I've seen on YouTube of people using this particular tray, their brush is bent weird. And it doesn't make sense because it fits in there just fine. Right? There's no reason for it to be bent, but it's bent. And like I said, everybody that I've seen with it is bent. Alright, so I'm going to put this on top of here, just because when the heat gets on this mat, it heats up the bottom and it kind of glues it to my table. Now let me move this in just so you guys can kind of see the magic of this for anybody that's never seen the embossing powders. So get you way zoomed in. It's not super focused, but you can see how it's, you know, just powder. Turn your heat gun on it. And what it does is it melts that powder. There we go. Just gotta wait for it to get hot enough. You see how dark that side is versus this side that's not done yet? Embossed, not embossed. Now when you're doing that, if you look from the side, kind of tilt your head to one side, you can see it actually go whoosh, and it turns into that shiny sheen of it. But you can see it's shiny now. And we've seen it in, most people have seen it on greeting cards, where it's got kind of a, where the lettering is like gold and raised. That's embossed. They've used embossing powder on that. Let me back you back out. My clicker was a little on the warm side. I'm going to be recording with opportunity the rest of this week because I'm gonna have little man, and he's quite demanding of my time. So this has been in my red bucket for a long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it used. So I think it was off a stationery paper, maybe? I don't remember for sure. Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, I think is what her book is called. I'm going to be kind of partially going over some of that. So I would definitely be wanting to use the stronger glue, but as I've said in previous videos, it's my preferred glue anyway. Okay. Woo. This has the straight edge on it already. Still got that corner over there I gotta deal with, so. Do have some Tina flowers left over. And just ink on the side, and it's just about getting rid of any white that's left over from the cutout and helping define those edges a little bit better. go one there and one here. Oh, that one's already inked up. And I'm going to kind of go over the edge there because this is the corner that I didn't have covered. I thought the embossing paper would, or embossing powder would grab that corner, but it didn't. So I'm just going to put that flower on, overlapping it. And then this one. Yeah, I'm going to have to move my glue over. That's annoying me that I keep hitting everything over there. We're going to put a third one right there. Now, you could leave stuff hanging over. That's not a problem. In my case, because it's only paperweight, if it was cardstock weight or heavy, a heavyweight paper, I would leave those and let them overhang. But because it's only copy weight paper, it's just gonna bend anyway. So just trim those off. And I'm thinking, because she's pretty dull in comparison to everything else, so I'm wondering if I want to just put a clear gloss on her. I think I will. So for that, I'm definitely going to need a bigger block than this. Will she fit on this one? Mm-hmm. This one. And obviously this is paper, so she's not going to stick to the block, but I wanted the block so that there's a good surface contact. I guess I could have done this with the smaller one, but out of force of habit, I'm like, does she fit? And then so that I don't emboss this entire background, because it now has embossing ink all over it, I'm going to go ahead and peel the back off. Let's see. I need a pokey tool. This is not the pokey tool, but it is a pokey tool, and it's just going to have to be good enough. Put these little triangles out. That one might not be cut. Pretty sure they are. I was pretty sure they were cut. And I cut these out on my my Cricut. I got stickery stuff all over me. Okay, now there should still be enough. Just going to do a little extra here. And again, I should have got my stuff out first, but this stays wet for, a decent amount of time. I can see it glistening, but I don't see enough right there. Stardust, white, clear. Now this does have some mixed in particles of other colors, and that's, you know, just because I'm not super diligent about, you know, not mixing my colors. Because quite honestly, I don't mind it. For what I'm, you know, for what I use this for. If it's, you know, clear but it's got a couple blue flecks in it or a couple black flecks, or, you know, so be it. No big deal. I don't mind. Oops. Put the plug back in there. Grab my dryer again. So again, you can see how dull she is. Just a good example. You see the difference between the top and the bottom? Down. Now it is kind of cool because there was some powder on the outer edges on the, you know, on the backing paper, so it looks kind of cool. It's like raindrops, but you can see how pretty she looks now. I'm going to peel her off. I'm going to let this dry and see what... I love it. It's kind of created like a... I don't know if you can see it, right, like right here. And again, because this is now not a papery surface, and it's not, you know, doesn't have it super sticky anymore. Use the powerhouse glue. Glue all the way around, all over, up the crop. Okay. So there was some white mixed in with the clear. So she's got like little white speckles. Hard to see out there. You can see kind of little white specklies in it. And the glitter Almost makes me want to do some extra splatter paint, just because now it looks those are fun. I have to do that on purpose on something. Behind my book here, get my Galaxy White Platinum Planet. Was anybody with me when I was trying to find this remote so I could zoom you guys in and out on a project? Obviously I found it. I was cleaning off my desk and I'm like, where can it be? Because I still wasn't finding it as I was cleaning. It was like this underneath my ink. So I kept sliding the ink around looking for the remote, and the whole time it was under the ink. Like, you know, only me. Only me. Wish my purple was that easy to find. Now the archival does not respond to water the way the inks and the oxides do. I'm gonna do it over that. I don't know what I was just thinking. But it does respond, as you can see, as you can tell. Now, if she wasn't embossed and essentially waterproof, I would have masked her off so that she didn't get this splatter all over her too. But because she is essentially waterproof, no, it does go. Oh my gosh. It would help. I'm like, why isn't this going on? It would help if I did it the right way. But anyway, because she is embossed, I can come in here with a wet tissue. And any of that got on her wipes right off. And I'm only worried about really what any that might have got on her face, which a couple drops did. Wipe that off. May have to rethink that. But there we go. There's our embossed tag. So my edges, my corners are embossed, and my lady here is embossed. And it's going to sit for a few minutes while the splatter that I just did dries. Put this away. Put this away. Bring these in so I can take pictures for my thumbnail. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. That is week 24, 25, and 26. So fabric and paper layers. This tag may not go all the way in, but figure it'll only go up to the point at which the fabric is going to prevent it from going any further, which is correct. You can only go in that far because catches on the pocket right here. This is the vellum overlay tag. And then the embossed tag comes in sideways. So the next one is a cluster tag, tag with layered frames, and then patchwork paper tag. So that's what I'll do in my next catch-up video. Like I said, I'm going to try to do three each time until I get caught up. So thanks for tuning in yet again. Check out Cindy A. Lewis and Black Whisper Crafts, aka Bex, B-E-X-X. Their channels I should be in my description box. Also use the hashtag 100 days of tags, and that'll take you to all the creators that are participating in this challenge. So thanks for tuning in, and we shall catch you in the next video. Bye. Peace out.